E into H into cos 0 degree is equal to, and now you have to write delta K, and delta K will be 0 because initial kinetic energy is 0, you release it, and we are doing the calculation up to the highest point. So in your diagram, please write it clearly that this point is suppose A and that point is B, and we are using this W total equal to delta K. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes.
Clearly?
Yes, sir.
So W total is equal to delta K, and we are doing this for A to B, right? A to B. So initial kinetic energy at A, 0. Final kinetic energy at B, which is the highest point. So here also, okay. Put values, and we have to get the answer now. So mass of the ball. What will be the mass of the ball? Mass is given in the question or not given? Not given. So we'll have to write it as density into volume. Clear? Whenever mass is not given, you always do that. Density into volume. So density of the ball, what is it? Capital D into volume, let's say V, into G into H plus X. Now this is minus 1. When it goes on that side, it will become plus. So this is equal to this. I hope you get what I'm doing.
Yes.
Okay? So dV into G into H plus X. Now you can learn on the calculator if it's not. So dV into G into H plus X is equal to FD. What will be FD? Density of liquid, that's water or tea. Okay? Into volume inverse. See, this is the reason why I told you that the ball should be small. Because if you think that the ball is larger, let's say bigger, so there will be a time when it is partially inside and partially outside. You know, to tackle that situation, we'll have to integrate. Right? So as long as the ball is small, you can neglect whatever changes happen when that ball is partially inside and outside. So D into volume immerse completely. We just take it from here to here. Complete volume. Okay, so into word for લખવાનો છે બોલો આગળ FB is density of liquid into volume into G into A into cos 0 1. Now we have to solve this. What do we have to find? X. Do some math. Come on, do some math. Get X. Did you finish it? Do it first. Does she have a doubt? You're solving it together. Okay, try to solve it all alone. And then tally your answer. Let's see who wins. Okay. Done?
Yes.
Which option? B. Actually, others look too simple to be the answer, don't you think? Okay, so this is how we will do it. You will open this bracket out if you want. Okay, I am curious. Do you know what is dividendo? Do you know what is dividendo? I am asking you genuinely. Do you know what is dividendo? No. Alright, so it's time to teach you. Worth learning that. It's a fast way to solve such cases or such equations. Let's see. You could write it as x plus x upon x. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Is equal to dvg upon dvg. Okay?
Yes.
Obviously, vg cancel. So d upon d. Now, you see the magic. Dividendo means you can subtract the denominator from numerator. I'll repeat. Dividendo means you can subtract the denominator from the numerator. on both sides. Okay, don't do it on one side only. No partiality allowed. Did you understand what I've done?
Yes.
This is called dividend. Have you studied this?
No.
I say yes, others are saying no.
Sir, when I was relaxed.
Okay, fine. Then that's the difference. It's interesting how they change all these things. We used to study this in 9th standard, I remember. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. We had it in our 9th standard syllabus. In the chapter of ratio. Did you study chapter of ratio? Proportions? Earlier?
Yes.
Nevertheless, you learned this from Tina, okay? So what have we done? We are subtracting this here, right? This way if you do it, see, it is cancelled, and finally you can just multiply that x on that side. So you get x is equal to h bracket d by d minus capital D by capital D. Understood?
Yes.
Right? Not that the normal way is tough or anything, but I think this is very easy to do mentally. Right? The normal way is, I know what you would have done. You would have multiplied this here, and then you would have taken terms with x on one side and other terms on the other side. Okay? Fine. That's not wrong. This doesn't. Just like we have subtracted, we can also add. If you subtract, it is called dividendo. If you add, it is called componendo. Okay?
Dividend out.
Latin words. Huh?
Dividend out.
याद है वो है?
Spelling guide.
Okay, never mind. We don't want to learn math here. That's it. All questions done?
Yes.
Fine. Now put this assignment down. Let's go discuss the next here. Pascal's law. We have already studied one form of Pascal's law, haven't we? Pressure at same height is same for equilibrium, right? Roughly speaking. But mana kita berantem berantem kan boleh macam lagi. Okay. So Pascal's law. There is one more form of Pascal's law. Of course, both of these mean exactly the same thing. But this form is, used more often practically. In some situations, if you consider the Pascal's law, it's easy to understand what is happening. Okay? So, let me write it first. Pressure applied at any point in the fluid or on the fluid is transmitted, that is transferred to every other point in the fluid without decrease. Ugri language हो गया ना, undiminished. Okay, आप लोग हैं ना? Undiminished, right? Diminished means to decrease. You know what to optics ma tenth ma magnified image and diminished image. So undiminished means without decrease. Okay, it's fine if you don't write. I don't mind. कोई तुमने आ law पूछना मारा No, what I mean to say is we use this law in solving questions. That's it. बाकी words में कोई लगा ना everything nana. Okay, now let's see what this means. I'm going to explain it by using example of what you hopefully didn't forget to do this morning. That is toothpaste. Right? Okay. So or toothpaste tube works. I don't know why. So, if you would consider that you have a tube filled with toothpaste, you open the cap and you squeeze it. You have to realize that even if you squeeze it at this end, toothpaste still comes out from the other end. Right? So what really happens is, toothpaste is a fluid, whether you believe it or not, but toothpaste is a fluid. Toothpaste mano manta hoy, to pichku. Okay? Right? You would definitely agree that tomato ketchup is a fluid. Correct? I hope you will not classify it as a gas. Right? So, when you press or when you apply pressure at one point, that same pressure goes everywhere in the fluid. That is what the law says. So, what basically happens is, let's say you press it, okay, already there will be 1 atm pressure. Why is there 1 atm pressure even if you don't press it? But even if this is open here, do you realize that air is present at this place as well? So here also it applies 1 atm pressure. So nothing is going to come. But if you squeeze it, let's say you increase the pressure and you make it 2 atm. So you increase the pressure here. You applied extra 1 atm pressure. Yes or no?
Yes.
That extra 1 atm gets transferred to everywhere in this fluid. So it will get transferred here also. So at this point, let's say there is some toothpaste near the end. Okay. So from here there is going to be 2 atm pressure. Why 2 atm? Because you applied 1 extra. So that is transferred to this point. So now if you consider the fate of this part of toothpaste, from inside 2 atm, from outside 1 atm. So obviously force from inside is going to be more and the force from outside is going to be less. Toothpaste doesn't have a choice now. It must come out. Got it?
Yes.
Sure? Yes. This is exactly how all such devices work. All kinds of tubes. You get what I'm saying? All kinds of tubes. Whether it's a cream, whether it's a tomato ketchup, water, or anything. Right? Not a water really because you don't press it, but a pouch or something. Okay. Understood? That's fun. Now, this is not just it. There are more uses or more ways to understand. Let's think of one more. Okay, but this one will be a little challenging. I'm presenting it as a question. Okay. So let's say that this is some fluid, could be water, could be anything, no problem. And there are, let's say, 2 points. 1 point A over here and let's say 1 point B over here. In this situation, when there is nothing else, there is just some water, some fluid, and these two are at the same level. Pressure at A, pressure at B, which is more? Both are very. Now let's say you take some wooden plank, okay, and you put it on you put your hand above it and you squeeze it, you press it. Okay, not too much that it goes inside, right? Okay, that wouldn't change anything, but still, let's say you are pressing it gently. So you are definitely applying some force. And this is directly above A. Okay, this is directly above A. So now if you press it, you have to tell me the same thing about A and B. Which pressure is more? Or are they equal? But you are pressing above A. Still equal? Yes. In fact, that's what this sentence is telling. You might be thinking we don't realize. Possible. You will still realize it using this sentence as follows. When you press it here, you are increasing the pressure at this point. But because you are increasing pressure at one point, that increase in pressure will go everywhere in the whole. Understood? Right? So let's say when you press it here, you are applying an extra 180 atm pressure. Then whatever was the pressure at A earlier will now increase by 180. Did you understand the sentence?
Yes.
Let's say without the plank, whatever was the pressure, you by putting the plank and applying force, you are increasing that pressure by 180. Then that extra 180 atm will go to A and it will also go to B. Understood? Not only that, extra 180 atm will go to C also. And not only that, extra 180 atm will go to D also. Understood? So, you know what that means? Earlier, if the difference of pressure was this, before you were pressing it, suppose the difference of pressure was Pisceman's P. Right? And let's say its value was, for example, half atm. Okay, it's actually going to be a further but because A is below. So let's say it was half atm. Then even when you press it, the difference still remains the same. Because, like I said, it goes everywhere without decrease. It's just like whatever amount of money you have in your pocket. Okay, let's say you and your friend. Now if I give both of you 100 rupees each, would there be any difference?
No.
The difference will still remain the same. Agreed?
Yes.
Because both get 100 each. Fine. That's what is happening. Right? So that is what is Pascal's law. One biggest use of Pascal's law is in hydraulic machines. You know what's a hydraulic brake?
Yes.
Do you know what is a hydraulic brake?
Yes.
It is used in the larger vehicles like trucks. Okay. Or it is one of the efficient braking ways. Okay, one of the efficient ways to apply brakes in all vehicles actually. Right? But you don't find it in cycle. Right? Cycle brakes are simple. They are made up of wire. If you would have noticed. Have you noticed that when you apply brakes, the wire gets pulled? Right? Okay. Fine. So before we get on to hydraulic machines, there is one remark that I would like to make. How are solids different from fluids? Think of a rope. Let's say this is a rope. Okay. So if you would apply a force of, for example, 10 Newton, and let's consider ideal case, ideal rope or ideal solid, then this 10 Newton is transmitted to every point. Do you remember?
Yes.
So for solids, I should actually say that force applied at any point. See the difference. Force applied at any point will go everywhere without decrease. That is the case for which object? Solids.
Solids.
In fluids, it's not force, it is pressure. Right? In fluids, it's not force, but it is pressure. You might be thinking force, pressure, more or less the same thing, sir. But that makes a big difference. Right? Let's see how. By understanding about hydraulic machines, typically hydraulic lift. Hydraulic lift. Very easy topic. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand what is a piston. What's a piston? Do you know what's a piston?
Yes.
Yes.
Induction now.
ये तो खाली तो बोलो piston नो meaning क्या? I didn't ask you what's the use of a piston. I asked you what is a piston. Piston is basically like a platform or a solid object that is movable and it shuts or closes a cylinder. Did you understand what I said?
Yes.
Piston is a moving solid object that closes a cylinder. In short, એવું ઢાંકણું જે ઉપર નીચે જાય એને piston. Clear or not clear? So obviously pistons are used at so many places like in engines. right? That's one of the use of piston. So let's say here is a small piston with area A1. Let's say here is a larger piston with area A2. Okay. And here, let's say this is all filled up with some fluid, generally oil. In hydraulic machines, typically it is some kind of oil. Okay. So that's what. Now let's see what's going to happen. Suppose you put some object here and it will have some weight.
Yes.
Let's say object has a weight. Suppose that weight is F1 because weight is a force. I hope everyone remembers that
Yes.
weight is not mass, weight is a force. Right? So let's say this object applies a force F1 on this piston. How much force on that piston? F1 down. What shall be the pressure? Force F1, area A1. What shall be the pressure? F1 by
A1.
is enough?
Yes.
So what we are saying is that this object is actually applying a pressure F1 by A1 over here. Now the Pascal's law says that whatever pressure we apply at one point, that is transmitted to everywhere. Clear? Without degree. So by putting that object, the pressure here will now become P2, which is going to be F2 by A2. That is, suppose this fluid applies a force F. Let me just go slightly slow. Think of it like a rope. Okay. You have tied some object here. You apply 10 Newton force on this end. What will the rope do? It will transmit that force and it will apply 10 Newton on this. Correct?
Yes.
Come to this. You are applying a force F1 by putting some object. So there is a pressure. Now the fluid transmits that pressure here, so it will apply a force. But that force it applies is not going to be F1. That's the difference between solids and fluids. Fluids transmit pressure, they don't transmit force. So in F1 nahi aaya. Understood? Here it's F1, agree. But here it will not be F1, it will be some other force F1. So what will be the same quantity on both sides? Pressure. Understood? So that is what we have. By Pascal's law we are going to have F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. You might be thinking, what's the big deal about this equation? Oh, simple as that. But it does wonders. Let's see how. Listen to this thing. Suppose that area 1 is 10 centimeters and area 2 is 10 meters square. Suppose. Okay, I'm using values so that we'll get a feel of how things work. Understood?
Yes.
Now, let's say you put some 1 kg object, only 1 kg, right? Its weight will be how much? 1 into G, that is 10 Newton, okay?
Yes.
Right? So now when the fluid will get that pressure, it will transmit that pressure, it will apply force. So how much force will it apply over there? So we want to find F2 or below kilopascal. Then we'll do that calculation. Now stop playing with your mask. Now you all have a new thing to play with, right?
Yes.
Pen, syrup, what about that? So calculator is now we have can you guys see what happened, Risha? Okay, here. So what will be F2? Well, go from there. F2 is equal to F1 A2 upon A1, right? Put value. What is F1? 10. A2 is 10 meter square. So 10 SI unit. A1 is 10 centimeter square. Centimeter square is 10 raised to minus 4 meter square. Correct?
Yes.
What this means is it is equal to the weight. It is equal to the weight of a 10,000 kg object. See the magic. What is baju?
10,000
Newton. Listen to what I said. I said this is equal to the weight of a. This is equal to weight of
Object.
object, but how 10,000 kg, isn't it? If mass is 10,000 kg, how much will be weight? I'm confused. Okay, fine, I'll do it slowly. So you have F2 is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton, but do you realize that 10 raised to 5 Newton is nothing but 10 raised to 4 into G? Yes or no?
Yes.
So કેટલું mass lift કરી શકે? 10,000 kg. એટલે આ બાજુ 1 kg નો બ્લોક મૂક્યો, ઓલી બાજુ ટ્રક ઊંચો થતો. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
By putting 1 kg block on one side, and even if you put truck on the other side, this 1 kg block will lift the truck. Hydraulic lift. Right? This is the power of hydraulics. Good thing, don't you think? Don't you realize? It's a very efficient way. Yeah, suppose you jump on this. But you see, there is a problem, practical problem. This area is only 10 centimeters square. Right? How big is 10 centimeters square? Not even the size of this tile. Right? Probably you could punch it. So drop up your Rohit Shetty style. Right? Okay. Understood?
Yes.
So this is what hydraulic lift allows you to do, and this is basically the idea. Pascal's law. Clear? So always, whatever you want to lift and a load here, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
The load will always be put on larger piston. Do you realize that F2 is greater than F1? F2 is greater than F1 because A2 is greater than
A1.
Suppose you put them equal. So પછી હું કેમ ખોટો ખર્ચો કરો છો? બે બાજુ equal જ છે. Here you apply 10 Newton, over there also you get 10 Newton. મતલબ શું આ બધું કરો? Direct ઉચકી લો. Understood? So this area where the load is always has to be what? Less or more? More. So if area is more, force will be more. So that pressure remains same on both sides. Clear? Sure?
Okay.
Keep that in mind. Okay? Let's solve the example. How many have we finished? 4? Have we done 4 examples from the book? We have done till 4. So now 5. There are 2 parts in 5. We will do A, but we will not do B right now. Okay, we will leave B. We will do it later. 2 syringes. Okay, is everyone ready?
Yes.
2 syringes of different cross section without needles filled with water are connected with a tightly fitted rubber tube. Okay, such a nice description. What this means is something like this. So there are two different syringes, they are connected end to end, right? And there is no leakage. That actually reminds me. Suppose by chance the toothpaste tube got cracked or cut, and then if you squeeze it, do you think it will come out of the nozzle?
Yes.
Will it come out from the other end?
Yes.
It will?
Yes.
Okay. Is it as easy as it is without the cut?
No.
Try કરી જોજો. Okay. But only when little bit is remaining. એ તો પછી ખબર પડશે. ઘરે મમ્મી પૂછે આવું કોણે કરવાનું કીધું? Okay. So here it has to be tightly sealed, because what happens is if it's not tightly sealed and you apply pressure, fluid will come out from there. I hope you understand that very easily. If there is a cut, you squeeze it, it will start coming out from there, right? Okay, so this is tightly fitted. Here there is one piston, here there is another piston, right? What are the areas? Are areas given in the question? What is A1, what is A2? Read the question once. Diameter. Diameter માંથી area તો મને ફાઇન્ડ કરતા નથી આવડતું. તમને આવડે છે ને?
Radius 3
તમને આવડે છે ને? જો યુઝ આવ્યો મેં હમણાં ઓલું લિસ્ટ નતું લખી દીધું તમને. પછી તમે એમ કહો ફિઝિક્સ નથી આવડતું, પણ એક્ચ્યુઅલ તો બીજું ન આવડતું. નામ મારું આવે. સરે ભણાવ્યું નહીં બરાબર. ઓકે, so here you have D1. How much is D1?
3 centimeters.
3 centimeter. Okay, what is D2?
The centimeter.
D1 is 1 centimeter. D1 is 1 centimeter. Okay. 3 centimeter. All right. Fine. Is it given in this order only in the book?
Yes.
The book confusion. So what's the question then? What do we find? Find the force on the larger piston. Head force. How much force? Okay. Do you realize you just have to do this?
Yes.
Yes? How many of you do? How many of you understood that all you have to do is this equation and put values so you can find F? Alright, it's homework. Leave space for B part if you want. We are not going to do it right now. How many lines? 3-4 lines? Enough. Okay. Next question, and that is 6th example. It is homework. Example 6 also, yes. 5A homework, 6 homework. There is one more question in the exercise. Go to the exercise. Question 8 in the exercise is homework. Okay? આ બધા સમમાં આ કરવાનું છે. આવું કરાવું તમને બોર્ડ પર. Do you think there is need for me to say A is equal to pi d square by 4 or pi r square and put values, cancel pi? Okay, એટલું તો આવડવું જોઈએ. Okay, that's it. પછી ક્યાં નથી. Now, next theory. શું થઈ ગયું? તો ભૂલી જવા બધું. Past was also. I said I don't remember what I should teach you now. Streamline flow. Sorry, that is barometer થઈ ગયું. Streamline flow. Okay. Okay. Right. So first of all, to make you understand what's a streamline flow, you'll have to understand about traffic, because I often find that fluid mechanics is just like vehicular traffic, okay, vehicles going from one point to the other. You see, there are always going to be some points. The topic is, of course, streamline flow. Okay. So let's take an analogy first. Let's say there is some road, highway maybe, and let's say everyone is driving by following all the traffic rules. Ideal case, isn't it? Okay. So let's say at every point there are markings, okay, which tell you what speed to drive. Very stressful situation. So because there is a hard turn, let's say here the prescribed speed is, for example, 40 kilometers per hour. Then 30 over here, 20 over here, 20 over here, 30, 40, 50, and now you can go further. See, again, it's not about can, must. It's about must. Like who is speed chalao. Okay, it's a weird, right? Not only that, the speed is independent of the vehicle type. Whether it's a car, whether it's a truck, same thing, no problem. Okay, and should follow the lane only. So, do you realize what happens in this situation is, first of all, there are no accidents. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Obviously, a vehicle coming behind this cannot hit this one. Do you realize why?
Yes.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Right? No. Velocities are not constant. See, you should understand this thing. If you consider this vehicle A, let's say, right now its speed is 30. If it goes a little bit forward, 20. Then once again 20, 30, 40, like that. It's changing. So, particular vehicle's velocity is changing. Is that clear? Yes? No?
Yes.
But what this means is, if this vehicle A, when it was here, its velocity was 30 km per hour in this direction. Now when the next vehicle B will come here, what will be its velocity? 30 km per hour in the same direction as was here. Then after B, let's say another vehicle comes in C at this point.
30.
Its velocity should be. So what we are thinking about is that the velocity is associated with a point. Okay, a point for at least velocity. Did you understand that sentence? Let me repeat. I said that velocity is associated or linked with a point. At this point, whatever the vehicle may be, the velocity should be 30 km per hour, and in this direction only, because velocity also includes direction. Got it? Right? Similarly, at some other point here, it should be 30 in this direction. At some other point here, 40 in this direction, like that. Okay. Obviously, it's not possible to drive like this. This is an analogy. Because fluids do this. Right? Because fluids do this. Exactly what I have mentioned. What's the difference? Obviously, there are no vehicles in fluids. It's that we think of particles also. So what it means is, let's say when the first particle of fluid comes in here, its speed is, for example, 30 km per hour, and in this direction. Then after that, when the second one will come in and it will reach this place, same velocity, 30 km per hour in that direction. Understood?
Yes.
So you could say that definition of streamline flow is as follows. At any point, the velocity of fluid remains constant in time. Okay, and if it has this property, such a flow is called streamline. Streamline flow or steady flow. Another name for this is steady flow. Okay. Now I'm definitely going to spend some time clearing up confusions that are inherent with this sentence. So it is high time now that you understand the difference between the two words. Uniform and constant. खाली અહીંયા नहीं બધે કામ. Okay, uniform and constant. So we all say that you all wear school uniform. Correct? Right? Uniform is nothing but a pair of clothes that you wear. Correct?
Yes.
Now would you say that it is constant in time? Do you always wear this? You never change it ever? It's not constant in time. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
See, it's not called constant. We don't say, where is your school constant? You see the difference? Constant means what? Does not change with time. Write it. Because this is not the only place you are going to use it. Okay, write it at the top so that in general you remember it. Constant means what? Does not change with time. Any constant. Let me give you another example. Suppose your mass doesn't change over the year. Then we don't say your mass is uniform. We say your mass is constant over the year. You understand that?
Yes.
Saying mass is uniform will mean your head has same mass as your fingers. I hope you get what I'm saying. Uniformly distributed mass. So તમે આવાનો દેખો block જેવા દેખો. Right? Or maybe a sphere. Okay. So constant means does not change with time. What does uniform mean? Does not change with place or location. Right? Uniform means does not change with place or location or position. Does not change with place, location or position. That is called uniform. Uniform is a proper name for what you are wearing or for what most of you are wearing right now. Look here, 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 here. Same kind of clothes. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's why it is called uniform. તમે આખો દિવસ હાથ પહેરી રાખતા હોત ને તો આપણે એને સ્કૂલ કોન્સ્ટન્ટ કહીએ. Right? So I hope the difference is clear. Sure?
Yes.
Some of you do that, I know. ગાર્ડન ને સ્કૂલ એટલી બધી ગમતી હોય યુનિફોર્મ જ ન ચેન્જ જ નહીં કરવાનું કોઈ દિવસ. Vedant does that, I know.
Sir, video call करे.
Sorry, not interested. And yes, now actually I want to say this. Please stop using the phone now. હવે તમે સ્કૂલે આવી ગયા, હવે તમારે ફોનની કંઈ જ જરૂર નથી. બરાબર? Don't try to learn things online. It's better that you learn it in the class. કારણ કે ફોન સાથે ચોંટા રહેશો તો ટાઈમ બગડી જશે. The other thing is what you are actually supposed to solve. You'll always get a feeling from inside. ચલો જોઈ લઈ મળી જ જશે આન્સર ક્યાં. બરાબર ને? એવું તો ઘણું કહ્યું છે. નામ કોઈનું મારે દેવું નથી. Right? Okay? Fine. So everyone, do it the right way. Now that you are in the school, take full advantage of offline classes. Right? Yeah. So coming back to the point. એટલે હવે કોઈ WhatsApp માં ડાઉટ નહીં મૂકો. સમજી ગયા? That's what I mean to say. Right? Yeah, I'm actually joking, but you can send it, but occasionally. એવું નહીં કે ક્લાસમાં પૂછાય છે તોય રોજ સાંજે સર હા. બરાબર ને? Okay. You can ask me personally. You can come to the staff room. You are invited. Okay? You will not get tea though. Here. So read this sentence. At any point, the velocity of fluid remains constant in time. We are not saying that velocity doesn't change. What we are saying is that at one particular point, suppose this one, here the velocity will always be constant. That is suppose 30. Then at some other point, it may be different. For example, here it's 30, but here it is
20.
So is the velocity uniform?
No.
What is the meaning of uniform? same at different places. Is the velocity uniform? No. But is the velocity constant at any point?
Yes.
Sure, you understood this,
Yes.
right? Okay? So, whenever such a thing happens, that's called imprecision. Right? What's the opposite of this? Suppose this doesn't happen. Right? Then it is called unsteady flow. What is it called? Unsteady. Unsteady. Right? You know, steady flows are very predictable. Predictable, that is, you can say what will happen. For example, if you start from here, let's say, right, you can predict that at any time here the velocity is going to be 30, fine. In unsteady flow, you can never be sure. Gamme tyare change things. You understand what I say?
Yes.
In unsteady flow, things can change at any moment. Right now it might be 30, but then possible that some more fluid rushes it, and suddenly this 30 now becomes 60. પેલા આમ જતું હતું એના બદલે આમે જવા માંડ્યું. Now real like traffic, isn't it? બરાબર ને? Okay, instead of following one proper lane, people drive here and there.
Indian traffic.
Sometimes people are not to be blamed. There are biological dividers. If you get it. If you get it, right? Okay. And I don't mean only human. Sometimes bovine also. You know what is bovine? How? Bovine નથી ખબર. Bovine means cows, exactly. Right?
Ox.
You get it?
Ox.
Ox. I thought you said fox. Okay. So that's about this. And now I don't want to teach you anything. Right? I'm tired. Okay, Siddharth is asking important question.